Gamers have launched a massive boycott against feminist propaganda in games and woke culture. As a result, the gaming media is now in crisis.
Taste of victory. The co-reporter who mistranslated the IGN hit piece on Black Myth Wukong is a little salty about the game's success.
Context. A few months ago, we discussed the IGN hit piece on the Black Myth Wukong devs. The article's premise relied on several mistranslations, like, for example,
I want to expand my circle and hire more people. Get licked until I can't get an erection.
Now, the IGN translator had some comments on Wukong's release, but there's also other tweets by this person that resurfaced before Key's account went private.
White gamers have zero nuance, zero understanding of the world, and it'll forever be like this because the world bends over to meet their expectations. And if they're upset, they just scream at their targets until everything works miraculously in their favor.
So a massive backlash against feminist propaganda and woke culture in games has begun. Black Myth Wukong has completely set off an insane chain of events, selling over 10 million copies in just 3 days and completely upending the entire gaming industry, showing that gamers are now launching a massive backlash against diversity, equity, inclusion by voting with their wallets. After reviewing the data, it shows that this is going to rock the gaming industry potentially forever and bring about massive change. Watch the video to really understand the serious implications that this is going to have going forward. And now let's just go ahead and jump right back into the video.
Hate white people? Yes. And if you're a friend, you'll understand why this is never personal. I hate white privilege so much. Their ability to scream, reverse racism when faced with a tiny bit of criticism. The world revolves around them, even in Singapore, every day.
And this is the person IGN decided to hire to translate, then construct a whole hit piece around it.
I'm so fucking pissed off. I'm so fucking pissed off. This has gone too far. Don't play Black Myth Wukong. Do not play it. If you must, go and pirate it if you enjoy it. I do not want to know it. Fuck game science and all the grifters who are doing this to one of my favorite people in the industry. Man, I want to look at the replies and big surprise it's privated. All these people are so scared of any criticism. Well, these people, again, I want to let you guys know that if these people could, they would bully you off the internet and they would debase and degrade you to the point to where like you couldn't have a platform anymore and you couldn't like anything that you wanted to like. And so never feel bad about being critical of them on social media. I don't think that you should harass them. Like, obviously, harassment is bad. But, like, disagreeing with people publicly like this and shitting on them on the internet, totally fucking fair. That's called public discourse. And if you have a problem with it, delete your account.
Yeah, guys. So, as you can see, this is a woman who harassed pretty much anyone that she possibly could. And IGN hired her to work on the game, working as a journalist. She basically straight up said that she actually hates, she used the word hates people who are Caucasian. How this is even, how IGN is even allowed to put content on YouTube is unbelievable. If anyone said something like that about any other group of people, they would not be allowed on the platform. And this is what IGN is involved in. Like, you can really see favoritism here at play, because so many conservative YouTubers have had have basically, been blacklisted, have been taken off. And here you have someone who puts this out there and there's no consequence. And IGN is one of the largest, if not the absolute largest gaming publication right now in the world. And they're able to do things like this and misrepresent comments and statements and literally and fabricate information. So, for example, they have like this whole community notes thing that's now coming on YouTube. I think I've seen a bit of it, and basically, it's supposed to add context to like videos. Like, for example, if there's things that are not accurate, but of course, they're going to completely overlook things like this, and it's things like this that are the legacy of legacy of Susan. Wojcicki? She was the queen of censorship. She censored the platform. She allowed pretty much everything to go from people, from people who would make these terrible comments. But then, like, if a conservative said something like "I love America," oh, we need to review this. We need to review this. That sounds a bit nationalistic to us, that we don't want that around here. And it's just unbelievable. So the gaming media is an absolute crisis right now over this game. Okay, it started with Stellar Blade, and they basically went after the person who developed the game. They basically called him an incel. They said that the women in the game are not realistic. And then someone basically looked it up, and they looked at what his wife looked like, and he was married to a woman who's also another game developer, and his wife looks very similar to the woman in the game. So eventually IGN basically apologized and then tried to say that they cannot be held liable because it was one of their branches that's independent in France, so they are Italy, so they should not be held responsible for what that independent office wrote. Totally insane. And then they turned around and tried this exact same crap with Black Myth Wukong, where they used an incorrect translation and then passed it off as accurate, and then claimed that it was misogyny when that was not true. And they don't give a damn. And they have not issued a proper statement recanting it and apologizing for what they did to the developers, claiming that the developers were misogynist, and there was a history of misogyny at their company, and it was absolutely terrible. Like, guys, this is the kind, this is how these people operate. What they do is they'll find out who you are, and they will put your information out there, and then they will say that you are a threat. They'll say that you're a threat, and you can see what you see. Like, for example, these are the same people who said Trump is a threat to democracy. All right, and we need to, and guys. You look at they and then they do this to people in, let's say, the Supreme Court. Oh, this person, this Supreme Court justice is a bad person, so we need to deal with this. So they'll put the name of the church that these people attend. They'll put their home addresses on there, and look at what happened to like Tucker Carlson. All right, I think it was Tucker Carlson. His wife was at home, and at one point they put like his home address online, and an angry mob began protesting outside of his house while his wife was inside. Like, how is this, guys? This is how they operate. So now this is a backlash, a boycott of epic proportion where gamers are voting with their wallets, and this is potentially on the level of the cores of the Bud Light boycott, where basically people boycotted Bud Light. Because this is so much money that is now being spent on this game. I mean, this is unbelievable. Like, we're talking about like $1 billion. Like, they just made like $1 billion or like $500 million in no time at all. So this game is, and because of what's happening, it's likely going to only result in even higher sales, absolutely higher sales. And I don't know, guys. Gamers are basically boycotting feminism. And the gaming media is now in crisis because of this, and I don't think that we're going to see this thing wrapped up anytime soon. I think it's the beginning of things to come, because people are tired of the nonsense, tired of the crap, tired of people being able to say whatever they want. Like, there are consequences. And now gamers are voting with their wallets. I mean, look at what's happening in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. All of these movies have been flopping. All right, they completely destroyed. They turned the MCU into the SheCU. And if you can see what happened now, Deadpool and Wolverine is one of the biggest movies of the year. It's one of the absolute biggest movies of the year. I mean, will it save the MCU? I don't know. But what we can say, like, for example, checking on Wikipedia right now, the movie has so far earned at the box office $1.211 million. So it's earned $1.2 million, over $1.2 million at this moment. It has crossed that threshold. Okay? And this movie came out on July 22nd. Oh, no, correction. It came out on July 26th, 2024 in the United States. And at time of recording this video, it is August 25th, 2024. So it's been just roughly 1 month, almost exactly 1 month since this movie came out. And It had already crossed the $1 billion. It had already made over $1 billion prior to that, and now it's at 1.2 billion dollars after only just a month in the box office. This is crazy numbers, and I think that it seems that it's really on point to hit anywhere from 1.3 to maybe even 1.5. I don't think it's going to do 2 billion, but the movie cost $200 million to make. It cost $200 million to make, and that's actually lower than I think movies like Black Widow and a ton of other Marvel MCU flip flops. And the amount of money this thing is making for Marvel right now, for Disney right now, they have to be basically going crazy over there because they're in a cash crunch. They've lost so much money, and this movie is now printing money for the company, and they absolutely cannot ignore it. Ryan Reynolds has said that there's not going to be a Deadpool 4, which I think is absolute total bullshit because the movie's performing so well right now that he wants to keep the focus on this film for a long time. It's brilliant. Absolutely brilliant. He's not going to make it seem like there's another movie coming. It's a brilliant move on his part because it's going to force people to go out and keep on watching this movie and pick it up and watch it over and over and over. It's a buddy movie. It's a movie that kind of goes back to even like, the 90s and the early 2000s, even the 80s, where you had a guy film where you these classic movies. Everyone loves Deadpool. Everyone loves this type of humor. So we're seeing backlashes everywhere, and the media is in crisis. The gaming media, the entertainment media, they're in absolute crisis over this, and they're screaming misogyny, and it's just not working out for them. It's literally not working out for them. They're screaming misogyny and no one cares. All right. The only thing that's happening is that men are walking away. You have big YouTubers like Meat Canyon, Papa Meat, that are attacking gamers, trying to shame gamers for leaving Western society, going overseas, and calling them incels, when the reality is that these are men who are just, they have, some of them have traditional values. Others are not even traditional men. And they know that these men are not traditional men. These men just do not like the culture in Western society. And basically, if you don't want to be in a relationship with a woman in Western society, then they immediately shame you, say that you're a danger to women, and that the women that are getting into relationships with you are poor and they can't speak English and they don't have an education. That's the reason why they're doing this, and these men need to be stopped. You have men going to Japan, and they're absolutely killing it in Japan. Black men, white men, men from Western society. They're going to these countries, and these women over there, they want these men. Okay? And what are women in America doing? They're shaming these men. They're shaming the women that are getting into relationships with them. It's absolutely disgraceful. And of course, the Simps are now doing it too. Okay? And they think that this is going to basically stop men from leaving Western society by further pushing to demoralize them. It's a stupid game that they're playing. It's a very, very, because these guys, they may be on top of the world right now. They feel like they're on top of the world. They're doing evil. But the fact is that you're turning as many men against you as possible. All right. And you feel like, oh, well, these men are powerless. They're like, we're going to operate as agents of the state. We're going to demoralize men, and we're going to work to reallocate as much wealth and resources from men in Western society. They don't understand that they're pushing men away, and they're also destroying they're also destroying themselves. Like, if you look at what guys like Destiny have done Destiny was one of the biggest streamers in the world. He was one of the biggest streamers in the world. And guess what ended up happening? He's lost such a massive portion of his fan base because of his political beliefs, and then on top of it, the lifestyle that he was living was absolutely horrible. His wife, he lost his wife. He was living a very ungodly life. And in the end, his wife left him. His wife left him for a man who Destiny's own words was very problematic. This is a guy that had serious mental health issues. I'm not saying the guy. This is how Destiny referred to him. This is a guy that potentially is not someone that his wife should be in a relationship with, and she left him for this guy. But if you look at the kind of lifestyle that Destiny was living, it was not a good lifestyle. They had like an open marriage or something along the lines of that. and they were basically saying like, this is how men are supposed to live, this is how real men operate. And then he's crying on the internet like, my wife left me. And like, you had guys, I think like Fresh and Fit, who said like, we don't agree with Destiny, but we feel really bad for him. You'd feel really bad for what happened. But when you live this kind of life, what do you expect to happen? You have no structure in your family. You're allowing everything to go in your relationship. You're basically like, okay, my marriage is open and my wife can do whatever she wants. And then you're surprised and completely shocked and upset when she leaves you for someone else. Like, it makes no sense whatsoever. And then he actually sat down with Jordan Peterson, I believe, and he was like, Jordan was like, he tried to blame like poverty, growing up poor, for a lot of decisions that he made and the things he said. And it's like, bro, take accountability for your life, okay? Poverty does not lead you to live that type of life. Poverty does not lead you down a path of degeneracy, all right? That's total cap, and trying to weasel your way out of taking personal accountability and responsibility for the things that you've said and the things that you've done. I've personally tried to kind of like avoid coming in contact with Destiny because he is a masterclass BSer. All right, this guy can argue and gaslight for days. You need someone along the lines of Ben Shapiro, who is a master debater, regardless of how you may feel about Ben Shapiro, to go up against someone like Destiny and put up with that and know how to conflict how to go against his continuous BS, which is why I realized why things like debate team were so important growing up, because it really taught you how to speak and how to communicate and how to deal with people in life, in your everyday life, that are going to be launching attacks and trying to argue their points while gaslight you along the way. Anyway, guys, if you're enjoying the content, subscribe to our newsletter for my personal thoughts, insights, and a free copy of my new guide, The Digital Nomad Blueprint. Yeah, it's brand new. Click the link in the description to get your free copy. Also, subscribe to the Angry Guy Clips channel, where we post shorter videos and video responses, and also the Angry Guy Live channel, where we live stream. Both channels are linked in the description. And finally, guys, protect your online privacy with NordVPN. Click the link in the description to get started and support the channel. Guys, where this is all going to lead is basically more, a more divided society. And a lot of women are going to basically find themselves being, men saying, hey, you guys are the ones who promoted this, and you know what, we don't want to be involved in this type of lifestyle and culture anymore. And it's going to result in a lot more men walking away, or even going their own way. Let me know your thoughts. We'll talk about it in the comments. Like the video if you like it. Don't forget to subscribe, and if you like the video, share the video. And just remember that all roads lead to MWA, men walking away, and cheers.